Things that sponsored influencers didn't tell us about the Kenzie before we bought it. Aesthetically, the box that it comes in and then that you can subsequently store it in is sleek and pretty. It has a convenient magnetic flap opening. It comes with a plug-in cord and then the device itself. And in my opinion, the device is just as sleek as the box. It's very pretty. I like the aesthetic. Now, I had my doubts about the Kenzie going into it, which is why I asked for it for an early Christmas present. I usually use Christmas presents as a way to get something that I wouldn't normally buy for myself or am wary about spending money on. In that sponsored content, I've never seen anyone talk about any negatives of the product, so I kind of did my own digging because it's something I'm really interested in. I would love to shave less and have less hair. Now, if you go beyond the sponsored YouTube content, you will see written customer reviews online, and that's where some of the cracks start to be uncovered. I saw complaints about shipping times. I saw complaints about the handset itself failing, overheating, shutting off on its own. I saw complaints about results. I saw complaints about customer service. It did take me over a month to receive the product from the time it was ordered. That could be because it was around the holiday time. Like I said, I did ask for it as an early Christmas present. I've had it for about 2 months now, so not sure if that played a part or if that is standard. But it's worth noting that it did take over a month to get to me. So if you're one of those people that's like, Amazon Prime, I have to get something the second day after I order it, maybe the Kenzie won't get to you that fast. That personally didn't bother me, but I can see how other people would get annoyed by that. And I never saw anything mentioned about that in the sponsored content. Another complaint I saw from customers online is that the device overheats and then shuts off. This did happen to me. I only use it on level 1, which in case you don't know, that is the lowest setting. It goes up to level 5, so each increment above 1 is obviously stronger. I've seen lots of complaints online that when people use it at higher levels, it shuts off and overheats more and more often. So you're trying to get through a session and it's constantly shutting off on you. I only use it on level 1 and it usually does overheat and shut off on me once per session. The last 2 months I've only been using it from my knees down. So I only use it from my cankles to my knee knobs. That's the most stubborn area for me. That's where my leg hair grows in the thickest, so I figured that would be a great place to start. So it's not that big of an area and it still does shut off on me on the lowest setting. Now usually it'll cool down in 5 or 10 minutes and I can start right back up and finish quickly. Another complaint I saw in customer reviews is that the actual plastic, this area around where the actual light comes out, that it starts to melt over time from such a high heat. I've only had it for 2 months. It hasn't happened to me, but that doesn't mean that it won't. As far as results go, Kenzie claims that after 12 weeks, using it once per week, you will get the desired effect and you'll only have to do maintenance from then on. I've been using it for about 8 weeks, but I don't only use it once a week. I've been using it 3 times a week. I don't recommend that you do this, but that's what I've been doing because I'm not sensitive to it and I'm only using it at level 1. And I have seen results. My leg hairs are growing in a little bit slower and just a touch more sparse, but I'm still having to shave pretty much regularly. And one of the complaints that I saw multiple times online was that people are not seeing those results that Kenzie is claiming within the 12 weeks. It's either taking way longer or they never even see the results in certain areas. I can see that happening just because of the frequency I've been using it, and I can see it even with me using it 3 times a week. I can see it taking more than 12 weeks. Granted, I should be working up the levels and working my way toward 5, but I have a very low pain tolerance, and I know as you work up the levels, it starts to feel like someone's pinching you, and I'm kind of scared, to be honest. The first time I ever used the Kenzie at level 1, it didn't really hurt, but after my session, I felt almost like I had a light sunburn on my knees and my ankles. So that day when I would like bend those joints, I kind of felt a tightness in my skin. But other than that, it didn't hurt the first time or any time after that. I just had that tightness the very first use. But if you're actually looking for the progress that they claim in 12 weeks using it once a week, that might not happen. It all depends on your skin tone and how coarse or dark your hair is, but I'm just here to tell you that it may not work that fast or at all. The last significant complaint that I saw from customers online was Kenzie's customer service. This seems to be where people were most frustrated. I have to tell you that I have not contacted their customer service, so I can't elaborate on this. People are saying that Kenzie's customer service is shoddy at best. When they have the complaints about the device shutting down, overheating, or even melting, Kenzie's kind of giving them a hard time. They ask for proof, they ask for videos to be sent in to be able to receive a refund or possibly not at all. I've seen some instances where the customer claims that Kenzie just refused them a refund or that they had to ship it back overseas on their own dime to get the refund. And I can only imagine what that overseas shipping can cost. Knowing all of that and given the slight issues I've had with the device, I'm moderately happy with it and I will continue using it as long as it lasts. Have a feeling that maybe in a year or maybe two, it will either go out completely or I'll have some melting problems, but that's okay. Like I said, I kind of went into this knowing it was not perfect because I did research, but I just wanted to let everyone know so they're not going in and paying, I think it was either $200 or $300 for something that's not gonna meet their expectations. And I think the main takeaway from this is that none of this is really mentioned in sponsored content, obviously. And I'm just a little disappointed because there are a few YouTubers that I follow that I really trust, I really like their personalities, and I've kind of seen them come up. So I trust their recommendations usually, with the caveat that I do my own research. So, I don't know, it kind of just feels a little icky. I did reach out to an influencer. I think I DM'd her as well as left her a comment under one of her videos talking about the Kenzie. I kind of asked her like, hey, I've heard some complaints that the device overheats and shuts off. Have you had any experience with that? And she never responded. So that doesn't really sit well. I mean, I know in your video you have to have like a glowing review, but I can't imagine that you're not allowed to answer a question honestly in the comments. I don't know. Either way, it just kind of goes to show that it's all about the money. And when it comes to money, usually anyone's opinion can be bought. So to you early viewers and subscribers to my channel, if I ever have sponsored content sometime down the line in the future, just know, if I scratch my nose, I actually like the product. And if I tug at my ear, it's really crap, don't buy it. Another thing I wanted to mention is that while doing the research on the Kenzie, I found that there are other options that you could literally order from inside of the US or go to a store and pick up. I know Remington has a few IPL devices actually. They have a few models. I think some are just older and some are newer. I remember seeing that they were available at Bed Bath & Beyond. So I could have just walked into Bed Bath & Beyond and got a Remington device. And I think there was one other brand. If I'm able to find it, I'll pop it up on screen. But there was also another brand to choose from that you could just go to a store in the US and pick up or even order off of Amazon. And there are comparable prices and they had pretty good reviews. And the results were pretty much the same. It would just take you a certain amount of time to get a varied level of results depending on, again, your skin tone and the type of hair you have. But as far as like the devices, I didn't see any complaints about them melting, which is good. And the best part about it is that if you did have complaints or you weren't satisfied, you could literally just go to Bed Bath & Beyond with the device and your receipt and just return it with no issues. So my advice would be, if you're really interested in the at-home IPL, just research those couple brands out there, the devices you can just grab off Amazon or go to a store and get. See if they're right for you, and that way if you do have issues with them, you can easily return them instead of trying to fight with Kenzie overseas and them trying to charge you for shipping or not even granting you a refund at all. Okay, well, hopefully Kenzie doesn't come after me. If my account gets shut down or I mysteriously disappear, you'll know where to start looking. And until next time, off I go.
And now off you go.